What's up, everybody? Tonight we're actually going to get into the reloading portion of the show. I'll probably tend to ramble a little bit about politics, guns, alcohol, whatever, but that's just me, so hope it has some value. But let's jump right in. I've got a few cases that I've gotten out of the tumbler. Not all of them are perfectly shiny. As you can see here, this one's a little bit tarnished, but it is clean. I don't think it'll affect the performance at all, just maybe not look like factory ammo. And then there are others that come out and, you know, they're just wonderful looking. But first things first, let's set up the die. Got the old RCB rock chucker pretty firmly mounted to this table, which is an absolute beast. I built this over course of a couple of weeks, and it is absolutely a monster for the little bit of reloading that I'm doing. So moving on, we've got the shell holder already set into press, and the way that everybody says to do it is to raise the ram and then lower the die until it just kisses the top of the shell holder. That's right there. Now with the carbide die, which I'm fortunate enough to have here, they say to back it off a 16th, so we're going to call that about a 16th. I've actually done it a couple of the other sessions that I've had where I've actually reloaded 9mm, where I didn't back it off that much and I didn't see any ill effects. If you're as new to reloading as I am, this won't be speaking down to you. If you are more advanced, you're probably already watching somebody like Johnny from Johnny's Reloading Bench, one of my favorite shows on YouTube, or Panhandle Precision, one of those guys that are really much farther along in the process. This show is going to be kind of entitled, and I think you'll see that this is reloading for beginners by beginners. So it really just is an opportunity to kind of introduce people to the idea of reloading if you're not already. Once that's adjusted properly and tightened down, you do need to make sure the decapping pin is down deep enough, but that's much less exact science, as long as it's down far enough just to punch the primer out. And once you cycle the ram, it'll punch the primer out. No big deal. And I'm a little over the top about sorting my cases. I'm just going to do a few of these same way. RCB seems to operate really well for that. The carbide die, the one thing that it really helps on is you don't have to lubricate the cases every time, which frankly is a mess, takes a while, but we're just gonna punch out a few of these primers. Little black cup right here helps to catch them, doesn't catch them all. And of course you are taking care of the resizing as well of the case as you punch that primer out. And my light just fell behind me back there. You might have noticed a little shake. I'll just adjust that light back real fast, and maybe as our production quality goes up, we won't have these kind of incidents anymore. I think everybody who watched the first one will notice that I did change the camera angle a good bit, adjusted the lighting. I don't know how that's working for everybody. My partners Keith and Drew were both adamant that I needed to make some changes. I'm not very much of a reloader, at least not yet, and I'm even less a video producer, but perhaps if you guys will bear with me, we'll grow in each category. We're just going to do a couple more of these, and then we'll roll right into the next topic as far as brass prep goes. I guess I could show you tumbling, but that'd be a little bit senseless and noisy. Toss the brass in there with the tumbling medium, turn it on, wait 2 hours, rinse and repeat as necessary. Okay, I've got a few cases already punched out. We'll set these aside for now. Come back to those when I'm not bothering you people so much. The next step, super easy, cleaning out the primer pocket. This little primer pocket tool came with my set. Actually, it did not. I may take that back. I did purchase this. It's really nothing but a little cutter head, 2 different sizes. It's not overly sharp. It's just meant to kind of grind out the primer pocket. Might have gotten dirty during first firing. You know, we could spend all night talking about this, but you know, there's nothing to this. And if this baffles you, probably reloading isn't for you. I'm no Rhodes scholar, but just clean up the primer pockets, get any old dirt out of there, any fouling from the first firing, or there are probably more efficient ways, more professional ways to do it. But I think until you get to a place in life where you're reloading enough that you really are turning out high production numbers, this really suits, I think, most applications. If you are kind of on the fence about reloading because of cost, which I was for a long time, I think this is definitely one of those cost-saving measures. You can go out, I guess, and buy one of the Franklin Arsenal brass prep stations, and they'll do probably a nice job for you. But you know, there's just not a lot to this. So clean out those primer pockets. Probably could use after a few firings a flash hole cleaning, but I'm really not there yet. I've only shot these once or twice. Flash holes, you can't see it, but flash holes are certainly clean enough. So instead of belaboring that point, we'll lay that tool down. We'll pick these back up and go through them again, this time with just a little case neck brush. Wipe out the case neck. Again, same principle. All you're really looking to do, just get out the old grit, grime, anything that would keep that brass from holding a full charge of whatever powder you're using. I'm using Unique, but I'm sure there are tons of other powders, probably some more high performance powders out there if you're really loaded for a bench rest type pistol, or not a bench rest pistol, but you know, like a bullseye pistol or something like that. But for purposes of target loads, from the little bit of research that I've done, Unique seems to be a good quality, safe powder, and certainly through the first 50 or so that I've loaded, I've had no complaints. This is one of the pieces of the game. I think if you don't find it therapeutic, certainly could get boring, but it allows me to kind of get away from the hectic day-to-day of my job, and kind of not think in this case, and just clean up some brass, think about the weekend, you know, good times coming, and hope everybody's all prepared for a good weekend, and watching what's going on in the nation, and hoping that next week will be better than the week before. Certainly like to see this coronavirus thing blow over. My opinion is probably a lot of hyperbole, which, you know, the media feeds into, which they have a tendency to feed into anything that is negative, and very few positives. You know, politics are a prime example of that. You know, we have the most robust economy of my adult life, or at least back to the 90s. And so, you know, everybody that's that I know making money hand over fist right now, and all you hear from politics is, you know, how the president should be run out of town, how he's not doing a good job with coronavirus. And, you know, let's face it, as first world nations go, we've got a very low rate of this coronavirus spreading, even lower death toll. It's a little bit silly. I think we'll save some of the next steps, which are deburring and chamfering the cases for next time when we get into case neck, when we open up the case neck a little bit, flare the case neck. So for now, we'll say goodnight, and hope to see you guys again soon.